Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, episode 107. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the man behind the reviews, Gary. How are you, sir?
Still waiting on that nickname.
Yo, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's coming. I promise.
I
All right.
believe you.
That's
I
that's
believe you.
all I can really do is promise you that. That's it. There's nothing more there apart from that. Is I can give you promises, and that's it. I'm waiting for something to
Inspiration.
it comes. Do you know what I mean? It comes. We're still at the dating phase. You know what I mean? We're only two dates in so far. So I feel like as time goes on, we're gonna get there. Trust me. I believe in us. I believe in us.
I believe in us too, Fix. I believe in us too.
How you been? What you been up to?
Usual, playing games, chilling. Bit pizza every now and again, just
Joe, I had pizza. I had pizza for breakfast yesterday, and I had pizza for dinner. Obviously, that Domino's
course.
leftovers had to be done. Had to be done. Um, where are we? I'm trying to think. It's Tuesday the 21st of the 11th, 2017 today. Recording nice and early, 10 o'clock in the morning, UK time. I'm trying to think, how was the week? It weren't bad. Wasn't a bad weekend. I watched Batman v Superman on Sunday for the first time because I want to go and watch Justice League.
I watched Justice League over the weekend.
Okay, I see. Oh yeah, I see a picture. What do you think?
I enjoyed it. But then I kind of enjoyed Batman v Superman as well. So
okay, cool. Well, yeah, we'll save that for a movie podcast, I guess, because this is My Xbox and Me, the Xbox podcast that you all need to be listening to. And if you are, thank you very much. You can head over to patreon.com/mcfixer to watch us record this show live. Audio is $3, live show $4, and you get the video version early for your enjoyment. This week you're getting it extra early because we're recording extra early, which unfortunately means there's not a ton of news, honestly. So if something bad breaks, I'm sure I will hit Gary up and be like, yo, we got to shoot a video. So if you want to check out those videos, you head over to youtube.com/mcfixer. No, that's the wrong channel. youtube.com/myxbox and me. You can go to MC Fixer as well, but whatever
you won't find me there.
You won't. That's very true. Let's get into it, Gary, straight away. What's been in your box? What have you been playing this week, mate?
I have been playing 2 games this week.
Mostly. What are they?
One of which was Star Wars Battlefront 2, which we've talked about extensively on the show.
Yeah, but you've had a little bit more time with the game. So
I've had time to explore, and
so let's talk about that a little bit then. How is it? Have you been playing the single player, multiplayer? Where are we at with it?
I've played a little bit more multiplayer.
Okay.
And my thoughts haven't really changed. It's okay. The progression system doesn't really work, but it's fun in short bursts.
So the progression system is now fixed though, due to people being able to use microtransactions. Has that? But the progression in the game still isn't enough to keep you coming back.
No, not really, because it's random rewards, right? Like I'm playing as, say, a heavy trooper, and I'm opening these crates, and I'm getting things for the Millennium Falcon, and it's just like, all right, then. I guess. Thanks.
Sorry.
Technical adjustments, yeah.
Yeah, because I keep looking at the screen and it's nowhere near me, so I'm like, all right, sorry about that. There you go. That's better. That's a little bit better.
Hello.
Yeah. So, what about the single player? Because I'm hearing very, very, very mixed things. By mixed things, I'm hearing lots of negative things from people. Even the hardcore Star Wars fans are not really feeling this. So, where are we at with that?
No, it's not. It's not great. As a Star Wars fan, it's not great. As a game fan, as a gamer, I'm not enjoying it either. The story it starts off well, right? Because it's like, it gives you the promise of the same thing that the marketing did of, this is going to be a different kind of Star Wars story. You're playing as Iden Versio, who's elite trooper in the Empire, which is something like you never get to see a story from that kind of perspective.
Okay.
So at the beginning, it's interesting. And you think you're going to be seeing this entirely different perspective on the entire Star Wars universe. And then some stuff happens, no spoilers.
Yeah.
It becomes a very sort of standard Star Wars story at that point, and not a very good one. Another issue is Iden's supposedly the main character, but it's only about four-ish hours long. But like every couple of missions, you keep switching to a hero character. So you'll play a couple of missions as Iden, and then there'll be a mission where you're playing as Luke Skywalker. And then you might play another mission as Iden, and then you're playing as Leia, and then Han, and then Lando, and then It's not a great way to tell a story. It's when you basically sideline your protagonist for like half the game.
So again, I haven't played it, and I am not playing it now with this whole EA backlash and the whole my thoughts of last week's episode. Which
great episode, by the way. I loved it.
Yeah, interesting. I'm just not going to play it now. I've heard mixed things in the story, and I'm not a huge Star Wars fan anyway. I was going in for that single player, and hearing this only 4 hours, I'm so happy I didn't buy this day one. I would have been very, very, very disappointed if I bought this just for the single player, like I'm sure a lot of people did, and it only being 4 hours. Unless it was like 4 hours and it was like the best 4 hours ever.
Yeah, I mean, if I
it doesn't seem like
it's amazing. I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah, is it so? Because a lot of games do this, where it's the multiplayer maps are what then makes the single player game. Is that what this is, or does it feel like that? Does it feel like that as well?
Yeah. Okay. So the multiplayer is the single player. It's not even just maps. It is maps, because obviously I haven't played about 3 or 4 hours of the multiplayer. I know them. I know like the maps when I see them. So you go to Naboo and it's part of the multiplayer map, and you go to Jakku and it's part of and it's just the multiplayer map. But it's the gameplay as well. Comes straight across from the multiplayer, which is incredibly basic. And when you're playing it, and given that this year I've also played things like Call of Duty,
yeah,
and now like Destiny 2, which are more technically like complex. It's very basic, and then you get the AI who can't. He's just so fucking dumb, and I just can't. Man. It bums me out.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about Game of the Year this episode, and from the title, you'll see the title, which is a bad year for experts, which we're going to get into before the haters want to hate and potatoes want to potato. But for me, it's a case of this year has been such a good year for gaming. So anything below the expectations of certain games, you're just like, I haven't got time for it. And I'm not hearing, even if you take the microtransactions out of it and take EA out of it, just think about the game as the game. I'm not hearing amazing things. We're going to talk about a lot of Battlefront 2 in the news this week, because that's all there really is to talk about, unfortunately. But let's carry on. I played a little Vizima game called Ruiner that you reviewed. And so for people who haven't seen your review, they should go watch it, youtube.com/myxboxandme. What did your overall, just your quick splurge, what did you think?
Oh crap, I don't remember, man.
You've played, you remember something, I'm sure.
No, so it was the aesthetics were kind of cool, the gameplay was all right.
Okay.
Ish, until you get further into the game, and then more enemies start coming up. There's not really any kind of variety to the gameplay or the world, and the story was really cliched. So that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, pretty much. I think this conversation we had. I am about 2 hours in. I really enjoy the aesthetic. I really like the gameplay, personally. It's a twin stick shooter, which it's just arcade and you run around just shooting. Boom, 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 boom. I love that. I get what you mean by there's no change, and I can see that already. It's just pick up a weapon, shoot a weapon, boom, 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 pick up another weapon, shoot. But I love it. Love the gameplay. My problem with it is the story, which I just couldn't give a crap about the story at all. And I hate games where I have to read absolutely everything. And I'm pretty sure that's a me thing. Obviously, being a pretty poor reader, as most people know, dyslexic, hate it. I just hate it. I've always hated it from being a kid. Like Final Fantasy VII. I remember when my uncle had that game, or somebody had that game, and they lent it to me, and I wanted to play it because I loved the world of what I was seeing. But remembering I had to read everything, and it's still the same thing now that I'm 25. If there's no voice acting, the game just doesn't draw me in. And I get it, it's a smaller title, it's not going to have tons of voice acting, but this doesn't have any. And for me, that's what let this down, because I really do like the world, I do like the aesthetic. I streamed it, like I said, I streamed about 2 hours of it, and I liked what I played, but I don't think I'm going to bother going back, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It is a little bit. Which some people are just like, we'll just skip the story and just carry on playing the game for the great gameplay. I would, but there's so many other great games out there right now. I don't want to give my time to something subpar. Why am I going to play this when I could be playing Wolfenstein 2, which has great gameplay and a great story? Why am I playing this when I could be playing X, Y, and Z that have both? We've got so many great 7, 8, 9, 10 games. I'm not going to stick around and play a 6 or a 5 or whatever this may be. I don't know. For my opinion, I haven't finished it. So, yeah, that. What else have I been playing? Playing some more PUBG on PC, of course. Playing some Destiny 2 again. I still haven't done the raid. This is my message to all my Xbox and Me listeners. If you haven't done the raid and would like to do the raid, I know that we've got me, Crash, Angel Boy, Foxes. That's 4 definitely who have not raided yet, and I would like to experience the raid because I'm at a level where I can, and on the first Destiny I couldn't do that. But I started a new character with Haley. She's enjoying the game, doesn't really care about the story at all, but she just likes running around shooting things. Perfect. Okay, it means I get to run my third character, and she gets to enjoy shooting things. So that works for me perfectly. And if anybody wants to boost us with their level 20 as we run through, please. But yeah, the gameplay of that game is so good for me personally. I love it. I really do. The shooting is the only game that I think does better shooting is Call of Duty, which is the next game I've been playing. So nice little transition there. Still playing multiplayer. Haven't touched a single player still. I will get around to it this week, I think, though. I feel like this week is the week that I'm finally going to go, you know what? This is what I'm playing. And then last but not least for me anyway, is Assassin's Creed Origins. Ooh. And I am now level 30. Or I'm like a tiny smidge from level 30. But so level 30. And I have only just got to Cleopatra. So
Wow.
So I've made a conscious decision in I am not going to carry on doing side missions once I hit level 30 because I don't want the story, the main mission story, to not feel like I'm progressing anything but the story. I want it to build on my character. So from the point I'm at, Gary, because you finished the game, correct?
Yeah.
How far have I got to go on the main story arc?
A long way. quite a long way. I think you might be about a quarter-ish through the game.
That's great. I've loved this game so much. Like, if anybody asks me, if you're not an Assassin's Creed fan, I would still say try this one. They changed the game so much. The world itself, I've said this on last week's episode, I'll say it again. I just love it. Really, really, really do. You have finished it. Where are you at the game? What have you thought? Your review's not live yet, right?
Not yet. No, I'm recording it later today.
Cool. How are you? Just don't know spoilers for the review, I guess. But what do you think?
It's good. It's enjoyable. I got some issues with the game. I'll bring them up in my review, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. I didn't hate playing the game. I didn't do that thing where, because with long games, you can always tell where if your enjoyment sort of drops to the point where you're just trying to finish the game because you're trying to finish the game because you've put so many hours into it. Mm-hmm. And I never felt that once. Like I was happy to keep playing to the end.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a madman. Honestly, I'm just streaming it. I'm just streaming it. Like I said, I literally looked up the level cap yesterday and was like, oh shit, it's 40. And I was like, I better not just grind through literally everything and hit 40 and then be like, oh well, what do I do now? Yeah,
time to finish the story, I guess.
Exactly. So I think I've hit 30. I think now I'm gonna just do main stuff. And then go back and do more. Oops, sorry, hit my mic. Go back and do side quests afterwards. But the side quests are so good. I really enjoy Bayek as a character. He enjoys helping people. He has a fondness for children. And when there's a woman there like, please help me, I'm like, I have to help you. I'm sorry, I have to. This is what he would do, and that's what I have to do.
Are you getting into it as like a role-playing experience? That's cool.
Yeah, that's literally, he is the Magi, and the people need him, and he is the Magi of Egypt, and I have to take that responsibility on as me controlling him and go and save the people. That's all I'm saying. That's
Good
all.
stuff, man. Good stuff.
Anything else that we're missing, Gary, that you haven't played or you have played this week?
Yeah, man. I've been playing Sonic Forces.
Oh, okay. What do you think? What do you think?
Actually, you know what? It's surprisingly a bit quite fun.
Okay.
To play. I've had fun with it. Like, I'm not going to say it's a very deep gaming experience or it's excellent or like it's one of the best games of the year. But you know what? It's fun, like to just run fast and do all this jump and stuff, and you get to create your own avatar with your own different like weapons and different like special abilities and stuff. And it doesn't really change that much about the game, but I don't know, man. I had a blast when I streamed it. So
fair enough. Interesting. I've heard bad things about that game. I'm going to be honest with
oh
you.
god, there's some stuff in there where it's just like it's not good, but the overall experience I'd say is pretty good.
Have you finished it, or are you still
No,
your way through? Okay.
I'm only about half an hour out or something. So
okay. Fair enough. Well, let's move on, shall we, Gary? My what's in your box is over. It's done. It's dusted. But you know what isn't? Topic of the show. Topic of the show this week is what a bad year for Xbox One, it says, but what a bad year. For those who probably know, if you didn't live under a rock and you're in gaming news, the Game Awards have announced their award show, obviously, that they do every single year with tons and tons of best shooter, best action, best voiceover, game, trending game of the year, all of that. But the topic I want to talk about this year, mainly on this show, is Game of the Year. And the nominees for Game of the Year is Zelda Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn. And as I'm sure most of you can see, none of those games are on the platform in which we play on.
Make a very short discussion.
It isn't. Obviously, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds will be coming to Xbox One the 12th of December, and we will be doing a community game night on the 12th of December for everyone who wants to play, who has never played before, maybe doesn't want to get their ass tranced on or smashed in. Me, I'm sure Crash, Foxes, tons of the community have played the game on PC. So I feel like what we're going to do is we're going to all set up in Discord. If you haven't got a Discord channel, sign up, join my Discord channel, jump in. We can sort out Xbox Party Chat if we have to, but I hate Xbox Party Chat. It sucks. I get a ton of echo from people. It's just not good. But that being said, 12th of December, we'll be doing that. I'll announce it on Twitter and Facebook group and stuff like that later on. But what I want to talk about is how did Xbox drop the ball so hard this year on its exclusive front? We've had some great games on the Xbox One. We really have. But none this year has been, for me, really below par. Where you have, don't get me wrong, you have a phenomenal game in Cuphead, which is arguably, and I'm sure we will argue about it when the time comes, Gary, Xbox's Game of the Year. Bar none, which when I say Xbox's Game of the Year, that does include third parties as well. So, but on the exclusive front, you've got Cuphead, you've got Forza 7, and you've got Halo Wars 2. And that's it. Sorry, my mistake. You know what? You right, and Super Lucky Style.
I keep you right, man.
100%, and I appreciate it. And that just isn't good enough. And I know we've spoke about this before, but it really set me off looking at this and going, wow, as an Xbox player this year, we really had a bad year. Like we did. I'm sorry. When you look at what Nintendo, and I get it, it's Nintendo, and their hardware sells on just their first party exclusives, and Horizon Zero Dawn for PlayStation and Persona 5. How is Persona 5 not on Xbox? It's not exclusive. It's not like it's tied up in exclusivity. It's literally they just didn't want to bring it over.
Phil hates Japan. I think.
No, because Phil's been in Japan. This is where I want the conversation to go. Of these games, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is coming to Xbox. Horizon Zero Dawn, first party game, and the two other two are Nintendo first party games. The one game there that could be on all platforms isn't, because it's a JRPG. And clearly Microsoft didn't want to. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's Microsoft didn't want to pay them to bring the game over. Didn't think they would sell enough. What? But that's not an exclusive, and yet we didn't get it. That just blows my mind, honestly. It really does. And it really is concerning that you can't get this caliber of game. Everyone was excited for this game in the build-up. And as soon as I knew it wasn't coming to Xbox, I'm like, what? Like, why? Sony do not own them. Sony do not own Atlas. We've had Atlas games on the Xbox before. Like, what is going on here with Persona?
It's a difficult one. Like you say, like it should, like they should have made an effort to try and get it on the Xbox, because again, the level of hype for that game was through the roof for years before it actually came out. Like amongst the hardcore, and then spreads out as you get closer and closer to the game's release.
Yeah, well, I heard about it from the Kind of Funny crew that I watch, but I know other people talking about it. I played Persona 4 Golden on the VR, and that was like, all right, cool. And then we heard this got announced, and you're like, okay, cool. Surely Xbox, Phil, whoever it is that deals with this, could have done something like, hey, is there a why is this not coming over? And if there's a reason for it, does it comes down to money, surely, which is like, well, let's give them the money then. We don't have enough exclusives this year, so we need third parties behind us. This is one of the biggest JRPGs at the moment. We need this on our platform. Let's give them a bit of money. No, just no. Yeah, obviously, I'm talking speculation here. This is just my thought process, but that sucks. That really, really does suck. We can have the argument about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Should it be in Game of the Year? Should it not? I personally think it should. It is a video game that exists that people can play.
I mean, you want to know where I come down on this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because this erupted in Twitch chat, and I was silent the entire time. Like I just watched everybody talking about it. But I mean, for me personally, like when I go back to my words about Gamescast and I'm doing my Game of the Year stuff, I probably will be considering PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, but that's because it's released by the end of the year, fingers crossed.
12th, we hope. Well, do you mean, yeah, it comes out on PC the 12th, and then early access on Xbox the 12th.
Yeah, but yeah. I've always had a rule where I've never considered early access games for Game of the Year, like any of them ever, just because they're unfinished games. Now, that being said, this being in Game of the Year awards, like in the Game of the Year category, like in the Game Awards, I'm not really that bothered. Like, it doesn't bother me if someone else says, "Oh, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was my Game of the Year," even though it's still in early access. I was like, cool, man. Like, whatever. Like,
I think for me, it comes down to the core of the game, which I get it. If you've released an early access game, like, okay, let's talk about like We Happy Few. It released and it was like, all right, this is what we want to do with this world, and you can go and play in this part of this world, but this isn't the game. This isn't what you're going to be doing. There is a story, there is this, there is that, builds, and it just shows you this is our thought process for the game so far. You can have fun with that. There you go have fun with that. Go enjoy the art style. Go enjoy it. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, for me, the game is you drop out of an airplane, you land on a map, you go loot things, and you kill people. That isn't going to change in any update. Yes, you're going to have balancing, you're going to have server fixes, you're going to have new weapons, you're going to have that, but that's not going to change the game itself. It's still, you jump out of a plane, you loot things, and you kill people. End of story. So you know what you're getting, and this game has a certain level of polish on the game itself that I don't think of it as an early access game, ever. Like, there's never a time I think of this as, oh, I'm playing an early access game. I think about it when things go wrong. So when there's when the servers are down, I'm like, oh. But then you go, well, it's early access. If that was a full release, I guess it wouldn't get that leeway. I would be on Twitter complaining. There's certain aspects, I guess, that you see why. But games do this now. They update and update and update. FIFA does this with Ultimate Team cards. It's not the same game. If you go buy FIFA 18 and play the Ultimate Team, it's not the same FIFA Ultimate Team you're getting from the launch day. So what's the difference in the early access of this? FIFA 18 is not in early access. You've got the game, you get a football, you pass the ball around, you shoot, you score. Done. That's the gameplay. Everything else around that is going to be updated, it's going to be changed, it's going to be balancing. Literally, they changed the passing on FIFA 18 because people were complaining. So what's the difference here? No, but do you know what I mean? Like, what's the difference here? It's just updates on updates on updates. It's just they didn't want to put it out. It doesn't have on PC. It doesn't have the optimization at all. But that's why it's in early access. I don't know. That's just one man's opinion at the end.
No, man, like I say, like I wish I could play devil's advocate and like try to like debunk that argument, but I'm really, again, like you're saying, like he definitely deserves to be in the conversation.
Yeah, a game that sells this many copies, which no game sales don't mean it's a great game. I know that, but when you have the grand swell of people talking about this and in a positive light, yeah, it deserves to be there. I think.
Fair play. Like I say, like it's if it misses its release date and it doesn't come out in 2018, it won't be in mine. It'll be in mine next year. But I'm not. I don't have that strong enough opinion to argue against someone who says it should be there now. If you get what I mean, it's one of the few times where my opinion isn't strong enough to.
Fair enough.
An argument, I guess.
Mr. Moody in chat says Atlas is second party, not third party. Second party is not a thing. Sucker Punch, Insomniac, come out and said that second party isn't a thing that the industry people even consider. It's just someone that's partnered. Persona 5 isn't an exclusive. It's not like Sony paid this much to get it as an exclusive. Xbox could have paid to get it on the platform, is what I'm saying.
Easily. I mean, I don't know if do you think this goes back to like back in the Xbox 360 days where they kind of did the JRPG experiment?
I think
they did Lost Dragon.
Yeah, I think Phil's definitely been doing something in Japan. We know that. He's been out there a lot. He's trying to work on something. Do I know what that is? No. But I feel like this is an easy sell for people who like JRPGs. Like, there's no way to it. Like, if you like JRPGs and you own both consoles, you're going to go play it on PlayStation because Xbox don't get them. Give them a reason to want to play them on Xbox. And we're not getting that reason at the moment.
Yeah, man. You open up Persona to a whole group of people who only have an Xbox.
To, let's call it 15 million, 30, let's 20 million, whatever. If Xbox is at 30 million units, which I think is a little bit higher than that, but let's say you've got a, and I know it's a niche market, so then we go from 15 to if this sold 1 million copies, it's still better than nothing, surely.
Yeah, but then what happens is those people are experiencing an amazing game. It's an amazing JRPG. So then when you get the next one on the platform, they'll buy that.
Well, and we're not having this conversation about how Xbox had a bad year because then we go, oh, look, a third-party game is up for Game of the Year that is on all platforms. Right now, not one of these games, what the industry has voted on, is on Xbox. And that sucks.
You turn the conversation around to, yep, you get Persona, that was on Xbox. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, that's coming to Xbox and not to PlayStation by the end of the year. So, yeah, the conversation becomes entirely different just because of the one game.
One game, exactly. All right, let's hear from my boy Mike Lynch. Mike Lynch says, hey guys, Mike Lynch here. Go check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mike Lynch. I'm no longer on hiatus, but you can check me out. Be sure to share, like, comment, and enjoy my content. Until next time, see you later. Thank you, Mike, for supporting this week's My Xbox and Me. As always, appreciate you, sir. Hope to hear from you very, 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 very soon. Gary, should we get into the news?
Let's get into the news, bro.
News this week. First one comes from Twitter. Someone called Pretty Good Gaming at Pretty Bad Tweets. CD Projekt Red are considering games as service for Cyberpunk 2077, as part of their drive to make more commercially successful. Sorry, I've totally butchered that to my ability. All right, we ready? We're gonna start again there.
We're good, yeah. Rewind. Done. Yeah.
At the end of the day, this comes down to Cyberpunk. There was a whole article that came out, Gary. That was
yeah. These guys make like news videos.
Yeah. So, do you know the whole story? If so, explain it for me.
This is one of the few videos I haven't seen, but I do watch Pretty Good Gaming, and it's where I actually get some news for the podcast from. But they're pretty good.
They live up to their name. So, from my understanding, they went back and got a quote about how CD Projekt Red want to make we're gonna put something in Cyberpunk that makes it more as a game of service type thing.
Yeah.
And CD Projekt Red have come out and responded straight
This
away,
is an amazing
which
response.
is at pretty bad tweets. Worry not. When thinking CP 2077, think nothing less than TW3, which is The Witcher 3. Huge single player, open world, story driven RPG, no hidden catch. You get what you pay for, no bullshit, just honest gaming with Wild Hunt. We leave greed to others.
Amen.
Wow. Wow. What a way to come out and be like, nah. Slow your roll. Yes, that is what we said, but this is what you're going to get. Maybe.
Yeah.
So the way I take this is cosmetical. There's going to be some sort of, you can buy, microtransactions still going to be there, I think personally, but it's going to be cosmetics only.
Yeah.
Like nothing else.
I think it might have some sort of asynchronous multiplayer element to it, kind of in a similar vein to maybe sort of Dark Souls.
Okay.
Just because that seems to be that would fit with the whole single player open
the
world
world they create, and yeah, I totally get what you're saying. But how are you going to come out and say we leave greed to others? Like, wow.
I mean, yeah, you just drop the mic, you know.
Well, it's just,
when you say that,
it's crazy. It's like, well, you don't really hear this. It sounds like something WWE wrestlers do. You don't hear this from like game devs and publishers. Like, no, we're putting our thing out, and it's going to be this, and you can expect this, and you're going to get this. And in the mind swell and the conversation that we're all having right now, we leave that to EA, which is pretty much what they said.
What they just said,
EA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which. Good on them. It makes me want to buy Cyberpunk 2077 even more, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't think I could be any more invested in Cyberpunk 2077 until I saw that tweet.
It's crazy because CD Projekt Red always, at the moment, just keep doing everything right. Like they did the thank you letter to fans that bought bought The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 was my first Witcher game. Loved it. Should have been my game of the year that year. Unfortunately, didn't win it because I didn't appreciate the game enough then. I do now.
It aged like a fine wine.
It really does. I've played it since, and it's got the enhancements for people that got the Xbox One X. It's just a phenomenal game. If you've not played it, you can pick it up dirt cheap now. You should definitely get it. If you want a game that's like an everlasting gobstopper, that's the game for you. That was my biggest problem with the game at first, and now I've learned to appreciate it. So, yeah. Interesting.
Good stuff.
Should we talk about MPD, which isn't MPD, but it's the UK version, I guess, which is Call of Duty World War II camps at the top spot, for the third week. We have our top 10 list of games for this week, which is Call of Duty World War II is at number 1. Call of Duty World War II is at number 1. Star Wars Battlefront 2 launched at number 2. FIFA 18 at number 3. Pokemon Ultra Sun at number 4. Pokemon Ultra Moon at number 5. Assassin's Creed Origins at number 6. The Sims 4, a game that I do want, but I've heard is quite buggy. So be careful. On consoles at number 7, LA Noire Remastered at number 8, Super Mario Odyssey at number 9, and Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 at number 10. So Battlefront, we're going to talk about more literally in a second. Shouldn't say literally because it's not. And I hate it when people use the term literally when it's not literally. So I shouldn't say that. Soon in the show. But what do you make of this? Star Wars Battlefront 2 launches at number 2, meaning it didn't sell as well, which I kind of assumed this, honestly, with the whole microtransactions and stuff like that. Some people do speak with their wallet the way they should, which is if you don't like something, pull your money out, and if you do like something, put your money in. Don't be, and I said this before, I said it on last week, I'll keep saying it, don't be the person who screams on the internet and then gives you your money still anyway.
Unless you review the games, right? Not that I gave EA any money for the game, but unless you review the games, right?
See, that's an interesting discussion. It really is. That's an interesting discussion for little outlets like us. Because, yeah, I guess so. to the best of my ability, I personally, honestly, if I was a reviewer, which I'm not, thankfully, we leave that to you, Gary.
Thanks, bro.
I wouldn't have bought it still. Just off premise. I wouldn't have bought it off of principles, I should say. I would have been like, nah, you're dicking over people. I'm not even reviewing it. Or if I am reviewing it, I'll get it at a later time. I'll pick it up pre-owned to review it.
Fair enough. I mean, I've come close a couple of times with a couple of games, but those are stories for another time.
I think definitely that's what I would have done. Doesn't make you wrong for buying it if you bought it. That's down to you, and you got to do again. That comes down to what's best for your business as well. And everyone has their own opinion on the matter. But number 2 isn't where you expect to see Star Wars.
No, I didn't see this coming at all. Like, I knew there was the backlash, and obviously with the microtransactions, but. Like, when people are speaking with their wallet and not buying a game, it's usually people like us, like entrenched in the games industry, know everything about games. We followed this story all the way through from beginning to where we are
and carry
right
on.
now and carry on. But like, it's the for want of a better word, the normal people who would make up the majority of the sales of a game. So for this to impact it in such a way where Call of Duty, which came out 3 weeks ago, is still beating it in sales. Like, I didn't see it coming at all. I'm secretly quite happy that happened, though.
Yeah, I think again, there's a point I want to make on this though. It's true that Battlefront 2 launched at number 2, but you look at this list, which is Battlefront 2 at number 2, FIFA at number 3, Sims at number 7. Sorry, EA deliver so many games that they're still just going to be making money after money after money after money. Like, there's nothing you can really do to hurt them, really. So even if you don't buy Star Wars, they have such licenses like the FIFA license. The Sims obviously a big IP for them because people love the Sims, especially casuals. They make such games that just appeal to such a broad audience that it's hard to take them down. Even with a bad Star Wars launch, they still got FIFA at 3, which come out God knows how many ages ago, and Sims at 7 that just released on consoles, which they already released on PC. So it's just more money for them. It's just an interesting premise of like, interesting.
The only people who are gonna be able to fuck EA up are EA.
That's what they've been doing to themselves pretty much. At the moment. Good to see L.A. Noire on here for Rockstar. Not a game that I really enjoyed, honestly, but released at number 8. I assume that's going to slip. Is that low for a Rockstar game? Even the re-release, do you think?
No, not for a remaster game of a what is it now, 6-year-old?
Oh, yeah, it's got to be something like that. Which I feel like the initial push for that was it's coming to Switch, not so much that it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not like a GTA. Like if they remastered say GTA 3 and brought it to the Switch, it would be low, but
that'd be higher. Yeah, I get you. Next news story. EA is altering the Need for Speed Payback progression system. In the wake of heavy community backlash against similar issues to Star Wars Battlefront 2, Ben Forge?
Yeah, I think Forge, F-A-R-G-E.
F-A-R-G-E. Walk, the global manager of community engagement, detailed the changes to Payback on Reddit, and the changes have already gone live. The amount of REP and bank has increased from events, bait crates, and competing against roaming racers, as well as finishing races outside of first place. This is again an interesting one. EA are in the news because I think everyone is looking at them now. Like, there's no way people are not looking at every single game that they are doing. I see Mr. Moody literally just posted in the My Xbox and Me Facebook group that there's something going on with Plants vs Zombies, and I had a chance to check out the article yet. But every single EA game, people are like, "All right, we're gonna have a look now." And that's the problem. When you buy it too hard, people are going to react.
Yeah, definitely. I saw a video about Need for Speed's crates. I have got the game, but I haven't had a chance to actually play it. I don't know why I actually looked at the game there. It looks like I was cursing to the heavens, like, Need for Speed. But No, I'd seen a video on it, and basically it's sim. Sorry, let me try and get my words out. It's similar to Battlefront 2. Its progression is based around random loot drops. So when the person I was watching playing the game was like, say, finishing a race, and then what would happen is they, instead of getting parts for their car or buying parts for their car or getting lots of credits, they would get a choice of 3 face down cards. And then you pick a card, and that card's got for a part in your car, and it's got a level, but there's no like actual putting like a thing. And I don't know anything about cars.
No, but to me, I loved Need for Speed Underground 2, which the whole point of that game was you earn money to go upgrade your car, and you did that, and you upgraded it in the way you wanted. It sounds like they've ripped that out of Need for Speed.
Pretty much looked like it. I mean, like the person who was doing the video said, you know what? People who love cars really love Magic the Gathering. So we'll just have a big card system in it now. And
exactly.
It looked absolutely ridiculous.
He makes a really good point. He makes a really good point of like, play to your audience.
Yeah.
Like, I get it works with FIFA. I get it works with Madden. I get it works with whatever else, which I think it's just those two really, like where they make the billions. But you don't need to put this in fucking everything. Like, everything doesn't need this. Like, come on. Next story is an important one for our audience, I think, because they know how much I love the game. And I'm calling you out, Proper BO. Where have you been? Because we haven't played in ages. Rainbow Six Siege Year 3 content announced. Ubisoft is bringing new operators, new maps, a map rework, and a special event to Rainbow Six Siege in Year 3. Year 3 will be a series of 4 seasons and will include 8 new operators. Jeez! I've not read this, so I'm reacting to this with you.
That's just like a live reaction.
Yeah, pretty much, because I love Rainbow as well. Yeah. 8 new operators, 2 new maps set in Morocco and Italy, 1 map remade with new level design and art style. Year 3, new art style. Year 3 of the popular first-person shooter post-launch content will begin with 2 new operators and the Outbreak event, grouped under the name Operation. Gary, help me out here.
Operation Chimera.
Which sounds interesting if you ask me. Outbreak and Operation Chimera will be fully revealed at Rainbow Six jeez, the crap. Joe, what? We're not recording early again because neither of us can speak. Invitational in Montreal in 2018. Because of the name and the logo, some have speculated that Outbreak will be Siege's take on a zombie-style mode. Jesus, we got there in the end. This is big news for me personally. Someone who loves Rainbow Six Siege, someone who has invested a lot of time in Rainbow Six Siege. That game has just progressively got better and better and better and better. Wow.
I think I need to get in on this game.
Okay. The thing I'll say is, do you like shooters?
Yeah.
Do you like hardcore shooters?
Define hardcore.
I mean, Rainbow is one of the most hardcore shooters that I've played in the last 5 years.
As a fan of the older Rainbow games, so not so much fake.
This is different. This is different to those. I played those as well. Rainbow Six, Vegas 2, and I played one. I used to be in a clan in Rainbow Six, Vegas 2, actually. But this takes teamwork to another level. When you play Rainbow Six Siege on your own, it is. I personally think it is very, very hard to be good. It's very, very hard to... This is a game where you need a headset and a squad because you are listening out for footsteps left, right. You're calling out different spots. It is one of those games. See, when I do like the reveal for games, so like Tango over there, take out Tango and add in Mr. Moody. Take out Bravo team and add in whatever you want to of my team. And honestly, it's just like, dude, we go in when we play this game. Everyone is super hardcore. I only play ranked. I don't play not ranked. Very rarely do I play casual unless I get banned for team killing by mistake, which you can do, obviously. The new operators just adds another level to the game because it gives you so many different ways to play the same thing over and over and over again. And them adding that many new operators it's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is we get new operators, which keeps the game fresh and keeps people coming back week after week. And when the new operator releases, the game booms. Then the hardcore come back, and then it booms, and then the hardcore came back. Do you understand what I mean? But boom, exactly. and then the new maps. I haven't been loving the new maps they've released so far, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna hate until I played it, but I am super excited for this. I would definitely suggest you give it a go. They just had the free weekend. You just missed out.
It's fine, man. It'll be cheap enough for Black Friday and stuff. So
true. Would I suggest you buy the? See, it's hard though, because if you buy the base game like I did, you then have to grind your way through to get all the operators. And the newer operators, some of them are really, really good. It doesn't really leave you at a disadvantage. I still play the original ones, which is Ash and Sledge are like my main two that I go to mainly on the attacking front. Mr. Moody in chat just said, I still cannot believe the game clicked with him. Yeah, he wasn't a shooter fan. I remember when he first played it. It's one of those games. When I first played this game, I hated it. Like, this game sucks. And then you play and play, and then you start learning. You're like, well, you're shooting through walls. You know where to set up barriers. You know where to set up little traps. It's just, so good. So good.
Gotcha.
Gary, unfortunately, we've got to the part of the stories where it's
I can see it. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's okay.
The big one here is Lucasfilm reacts to Star Wars Battlefront 2 loot craze. Lucasfilm has weighed in there with their reactions to the Star Wars Battlefront 2 loot crates. In a statement issued to the Washington Post, a Lucasfilm spokesperson said the production company supported EA's decision to withdraw for now the ability to spend in-game. Quote, Star Wars has always been about the fans, Lucasfilm slated. And whether it's Battlefront or any other Star Wars experience, they come first. That's why we support EA's decision to temporarily remove in-game payments to fans to address fans' concerns. That's very important. And I think that statement in itself is very important because I've always believed that. Looking from an outsider's perspective on not being a Star Wars fan, I've always felt like Star Wars fans have been treated quite well with the IP. Apart from, when I mean that, I mean like game-wise and there's a lot of positivity around the new films. Obviously, I know the prequels were not something people enjoyed. Fuck you all. I still love Star Wars. What's the one with Darth Maul?
Phantom Menace.
I still fucking love that, yeah? So that's me. Don't at me. But Jar Jar Binks is the best Star Wars character. But I've always felt like... Facts.
I mean, I was trying so hard. I was just like, yep, you can have his opinion. You can have his opinion. Jar Jar's the best character.
Facts.
Screw you, Fix.
Screw you. But I've always felt like the fans are respected.
Yeah.
I feel from an outsider's perspective. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in there. But it's interesting though coming out and making a comment on this, and it's like, all right. And then we hear this rumbling. This one's from the Washington Post as well. Apparently, there was a phone call from Disney executive Jimmy. Is it Pitaro?
Where are we? Jimmy Pitaro, head of consumer products and interactive media.
Yes, and the quote was on Thursday. Jimmy Pitaro, chairman of Disney's customer products and interactive media division, made a call to EA hours before the decision was made to pull in-game purchases. So. This is important because I was a person who was like, well done, EA. You finally did the right thing. It doesn't sound like they did. It sounds like they were forced to. And it sounds like in a big way, they were forced to. And now that's made that's reactionary on every single piece of their content now, which is really crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in that phone conversation, though.
It's, yo, you guys fucked up. Go fix this.
Yeah, it goes further than that. It goes to the point of you do realize we have a Star Wars film coming out next month. Well, why is everybody like the whole conversation around Star Wars negative right now? What crazy. Are you doing?
That is crazy to think. Yeah, that's Joe. It's a really good point. It's a really good point that I didn't really think of about the new film because obviously I will go see it, but I don't really care. I just break people's hearts. That's what I do on this show, especially Star Wars fans. People are just like. Really? You suck. You love Resident Evil? You suck. Yeah, it's just interesting. This come from higher ups. It didn't come from just Joe Schmoes. This wasn't fans Fans didn't do fuck all, unfortunately.
Well,
That's how I
mean,
feel.
without the fan backlash, I don't think Disney would have done anything. But
Very good point.
You could see EA were just trying to have their cake and eat it too, to keep the microtransactions and just keep tweaking them until like people had stopped kicking off. But then Disney's just stepped in and said, "No, you've got to turn this stuff off." That's how I see it has gone down. Anyway,
fair enough. Last one, which is Star Wars Battlefront 2's controversy is due to overreactions. Games should have a higher price, says Alice. This is a talk that a lot of people have been going through at the moment, which is the reason we're getting all this is because games are so cheaply sold at, because obviously when we jump from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, games stay the same price for America, not for everyone. And I think that's very, very, very important.
That was going to be my first point. It was just like they didn't stay the same price here.
This is very, very important for everybody to understand. In America, it went from 60 to 60. It didn't go from, it went for us, it went from 40 to 54, pretty much around that, give or take on the game and stuff like that. And Amazon, I think, do a great job of getting prices quite low. For me, anyway. The last game I paid 50 plus for was Madden. I paid £55 for that game, which sucks.
I remember buying my PS4 on launch day and going out to the shops to buy a couple of games to play on it, and they were like 55 quid each, and it's just like fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly. But you expect that with a new generation. America, the only country that didn't really experience that. I know Australia, they get it. It's ridiculous over there for prices for games. They get it the worst. So I'm not about to sit here and bitch, let me tell you. But an analyst has come out and said, and here's the quote: "We view the negative reactions to Star Wars Battlefront 2 and industry trading sympathy as an opportunity to add to EA, Take-Two's, Activision, Blizzard's position to handling of the Star Wars Battlefront 2 launch by EA has been poor. Despite this, we view this the suspension of microtransactions in the near term as a I'm first reading this as well, as risky, pretty much. Gamers won't overreact. They're undercharged, and where gamers, there's a lot of like speech bubbles and shit in this.
Yeah, it's a weird quote.
Which this saga has been a perfect storm of overreaction as it involves EA, Star Wars, Reddit, and certain pursuits gaming journalism / outlets who dislike microtransactions. Just
like analysts as well.
Some analysts make me die. They really do. Like, you've got a job to do, and your job, I'm sure you do quite well. I'm sure you get some things right. They remind me of like people with like, they got their crystal ball, and or more like an 8-ball. They the 8 balls you buy from a shop.
Yeah, a magic 8-ball.
That's what they've got, a magic 8-ball. They just shake it and go, yeah, that I'll say that'll work this week. And then so they get asked another question, they shake it again, and it's like, all right, yeah, I'll go with that one. Like, sometimes I think they just speak out of their arse.
They do. I mean, let's be fair. It was analysts who predicted the death of console gaming back in 2012.
Well, they were wrong, wasn't they? And
then, I mean, here I am on a podcast called My Xbox and Me.
It's not called My PC and Me, even though we might change the name one day. I'm not sure. I joke. Do not come for me. This is just an interesting one. Do you think games? Do you think games are too cheap? Do you a game like, and I think this is the example everybody uses, unfortunately, but a game like The Witcher, which is probably one of the biggest games I've ever played, do you think that should have been more expensive?
No.
I
don't think CD Projekt Red would have charged more for it either. I mean, do I think games are more expensive? I think Call of Duty World War II just made $500 million in its opening weekend without microtransactions turned on.
That's Call of Duty, though. That's one game, unfortunately. I get you. I totally don't disagree with you.
But a lot of the times, the games that are trying to turn on, like, a lot of games have microtransactions. And I've said multiple times, I'm fine with microtransactions. I'm not fine with loot boxes, but microtransactions and stuff, that's cool. But the games that try to push it too far generally tend to be the biggest games, the ones that will make the most money, the ones that are guaranteed to basically succeed, like Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Where do you think microtransactions are going to go from here? Like the loot box microtransaction this year has been defined by them, and it's been the latter part of the year. Don't get me wrong, but where do you think this leaves us on as an industry?
I don't know, man. Like we're right in the middle of the storm still. You know, like
I don't think we're at the middle. I think we're at the top of it. I'm ready for it to start dipping. I feel like everyone who was making a game back up wherever their studios and were thinking about doing this, like going, maybe not. Maybe we don't.
I think you're getting points, at least from a PR perspective, if you come out and say we're not going to have loot boxes at this point. A couple of smaller studios have done that and had some good positive press. Whether that actually translates to sales or not, you have to wait to find out. But I don't know, man. Like it's hard to see at this point where it could possibly go because like all of this stuff with Battlefront 2 and has literally just happened. And it depends, I think, on what happens when they turn it back on and how they decide to turn it back on and whether like prices change.
Right.
And then it'll probably depend on the reaction to that.
Fair enough. Games with Gold this month. Don't forget, you can get Track Turbo from November 1st to November 30th. Tales from the Borderlands from November 16th to December 15th. Do not miss out on that game if you've not played it. It's amazing. And you've got Deadfall Adventures from November 16th to November 30th. This is where we will go into Fix's Sack, but unfortunately, Fix's Sack is empty. No. You can email in myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'm being serious. We say this every week. Remember, Gary doesn't know who all of you are. So I'm sure Gary would love to hear about this amazing audience that he's now speaking to on a weekly basis and people that are checking out his reviews. Email in, say hello, give us a question, comment, concern, anything you like. We want to hear from you. myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com.
Reviews are coming, by the way. Like I've got my whole afternoon booked out for reviewing. So
teaser. Let's plug and get ourselves out of it, Gary. What have you got to plug this week?
All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say because this is my third My Xbox and Me podcast, and I just have to say, like the reaction from like you guys out there, like on the Facebook, in the chat, in Fixer's Sack, on Twitter, everywhere. On my street, coming into my streams and watching me play games, it's been amazing and I love it. So thank every single one of you. Thank you very much because it really does mean a lot to me. As far as what I've got to plug, I don't really have anything to plug, so I'm just going to plug my Twitter, which apparently my friend Keith says that I've been on point with my GIFs and memes throughout this Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy. So look, at Jerobolod.
All I'm saying is you're getting up in the world now, yeah? Maybe change your Twitter handle to Gary Reviews or something, because look, I don't like your name. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like your cap, so to be fair, I'm only wearing a cap because I need a haircut. So you can find me at MCFixer on Twitter. Remember, patreon.com/MCFixer is what keeps the lights on. Literally the two big lights that light me. Otherwise, as Gary witnessed this morning, I didn't put my lights on and I was looking very, very dark. See, I need these lights. Or
it was almost a religious experience. It was just like, no.
Yeah, patreon.com/MCFixer. You can get loads of goodies over there. January 1st is coming up quick and fast, which is my 2-year anniversary on Patreon. There is going to be a ton of new shows announced. There's going to be a ton of new content announced. There's going to be a ton of new goals and tiers and things. So be locked them very, very soon. Coming. You can, if you hit me up via email or Facebook chat or wherever you want, My Xbox and Me t-shirts are back on sale. We've got our first lot coming in Wednesday for the people that order those in the Facebook group. So I'll be contacting the people that wanted them very, very, very soon. If you want to order one, like I say, email in myxboxandmepodcast@gmail.com. I'm hoping to have a store up soon for people to be able to just go buy them there, but it's a work in progress. Until then, I will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Bye.